call, sir. Hello? Roll call.
Mr. King. Here. Mr. Gallup.
Here.
Mr. Pike. There's a quorum present.
As you wish, please stand for the pledge and the invocation. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you humble your greatness, all the gifts that you bestow on us. We ask for your help today in the decisions that need to be made going forward with this county. And all these things we ask in your Son's name, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
The board received the consent agenda. It has been published. Motion?
I make a motion, we accept the consent agenda.
Second? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Nick, I'm having an issue or two up here, but it's all right. Okay, we have a bid opening for office supplies for the circuit clerk's office.
Right, there's just one bid.
Won't take long.
No, and that's from the area office supply. We'll leave it out here. If somebody is interested in this bid, you can take a picture of it.
Okay. Now we have approval of the bid, of bids for the overlay projects. John?
John Gross, Highway Administrator. We are ready to award our overlay projects in their entirety as one project today. We had 3 bids. One was unresponsive due to some documentation not being received. So we would like to award that to Vern Bauman for $828,547.16.
That's the next lowest bid.
That is the
Lowest?
lowest qualified bid.
Okay.
That is correct.
We give me that pricing, sorry.
$828,547.16.
Notice my slam on the Judy and the Judy.
I did.
Yeah. Okay.
And Corber is not up there, but that's one that will be
Okay.
on the list as well.
Okay. Okay, motion? This second, comments. Motion?
I'm gonna make a motion to accept the recommendation of the highway administrator to award the project to Vern Bauman for $828,547.16.
I'll second that. Now, question, comments?
Yes, we're with Lead Belt Materials and we'd like to speak on our behalf.
Go ahead.
The paperwork.
Here you go, you guys can come up here.
Like Brad said, my name is Anthony Laws, we're with Lead Belt Materials, this is Brad Spar. We were actually the low bid on the project. I believe the total was probably roughly $75,000 cheaper.
752, 659, 23 was the.
Thank you, John, I appreciate that. John made mention of documentation that was not included on our project. With this, with the ARPA funding, as we were notified that we needed to be registered through sam.org, which is part of the federal government. I'm sure you all are more familiar with that than we are. We started our process of getting registered with that, and the last time our company was a part of a SAM project was 2009. So all of our documentation, our entity that we have with the federal government had to be updated. We basically had to re-register, we had to update all of our information. This is a federal government process. So with anything within the federal government, it doesn't exactly move fast. Our company is registered. We are still pending. Just gotta go through the red tape. It's visible publicly, we are in there, it just hasn't had the final approval with them. And they told us that that should happen anywhere in the next 10. The lady, I actually days. talked to the government this morning, or a lady with sam.org, and she told me our application should be completely full and processed within 10 days from now. Obviously, I'll acknowledge the fact that today the bid was supposed to be awarded, but at the same time, we have done our part to be, I guess, credentialed properly for these types of projects. As of this morning at 10 a.m., I can prove you documentation, emails from the government saying that we are registered. It's just not everything has been updated. And that's why possibly to this point that we have not been visible to the county's office on their website or through the organization's website. So
Bridget, can you talk to us about requirements of this and the ramifications of it?
So, whenever we, have any kind of an, reimbursement with ARPA funding that's over $50,000, we have to enter their information into the U.S. Department of Treasury's website when the reporting is done, along with their UEI number, which is the number that they're given when they register with SAM.gov. So if we don't have all that information to enter in there and it's not valid yet, and I enter it, then it'll be kicked back. And then we could be in violation of spending our ARPA money that, you know, with a non-registered entity that.
So what is the long-term ramifications of that?
So, at some point, if when they audit our books, the U.S. Department of Treasury, they could make us repay that money to the federal government for using those funds inappropriately.
What about future grants?
We could possibly have a finding on our CFA report, which would, cause us possibly not to get other future grants.
So you have to have this documentation, certification, whatever the word, at the time of the approval.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Can we ask John, Clay,
Yes.
how important is this that we do this today? And do we have the 10-day window is what they're expecting? Do we have that window to wait for?
Well,
Why
we
would get it
have
done today?
notified all contractors that, today was the day they would be awarded. And we need this to be done in a timely fashion because we have to have these funds not only allocated, but spent by a deadline of September.
September 30th.
So,
Of what year?
this year.
This year for any
So,
kind of infrastructure project.
time is of the essence, and not only that, every contractor has been notified that today is the day we would award the bids.
And we're told that there was one other contractor that didn't have his documentation, but he got it in time.
Correct.
We've been checking this weekly since this went out, and we sent the email out in March.
So, I mean, all contractors were aware, we notified them in March of our intent to award these all as one ARPA funded package. We had a pre-bid meeting prior to the bids being received. They were told, all contractors were told that then, and they were told that we would open them on the 7th and award them on the 14th, and they were told this long ago.
Are the roads prepped and ready to go?
They can start right away.
They could start right away.
may I say something?
Yes.
Yes, we were notified March 21st that we needed to be in SAM.gov as a registered entity. That is when we started the process.
Okay.
And to this day, as I said, it's not finalized. But the application was submitted, which then turns into, once you submit it as a company, then they recognize the company. In order to, I guess, make your company official, you have to have administrators that can speak on behalf of your company. Notarized letters have been submitted to the federal government on that. That has been reviewed and approved now. So I personally can speak on behalf of our company with SAM.gov, but I can't make them go any faster. So our main reason here today, I'm sorry, no, go ahead. You finish. Basically, if there could be a extension, and you're right, you notified contractors today. I'm not disagreeing with anything that these gentlemen have said. If there could be any extension on that, obviously, we were told this, it's in a verbal manner, that it was gonna be bid last week, awarded today. We're asking for a 1-week extension. Next Tuesday at your meeting, if this isn't official, you won't even see us standing here.
I'd like to say something too on the timing of the project, like Clay and John are alluding to. John and I had a conversation after the bids last week, and he asked me about our schedule. We have 4 months to complete the project. It's not 4 months worth of work. it's probably a month's worth of work for us. If we don't even start this for a month and a half, we have no problem completing this per the deadline that was given to us. So that's not an issue at all. This isn't something that if you wait to award this another week or so, that it's going to keep us from completing the project on what's required.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, well, thank you.
Commissioner, I appreciate you letting us speak.
Okay,
Thank you.
So John, a 1 week, what would a 1 week do for us?
So,
1 week deadline.
I wanna ask a question real quick, because we have a gentleman in here that deals with this on a regular basis.
Yes.
Jeremy, if you're doing a project and you have an unresponsive bidder, how is that handled typically?
By the way, Jeremy Manning is with Smith and Company Engineering. Go ahead.
Well, number one, I'm not a lawyer. And through my engineering career, I kind of make a joke to a lot of interns that sometimes it feels like we're more lawyer than we are engineer. On my projects, which are all federal government funded, and I know ARPA is too, but there are a lot of different rules with ARPA projects. We have a lot of engineers that deal with ARPA projects every day. I'm not one of them. But on my projects, which are federal highway funded, non-responsive would mean that anything that I've said in this bid document that has to be turned in on time, that's it. There is no questions
Turned in at the bid time?
at the bid date.
So the person that you're talking about awarding it to, they have everything?
They did not have it last week, but
Point that out too.
Bridget and I wanted to
And I'm-
give that week to check every.
So do we have to, according to you guys, do we have to throw that one out too? And
Say that again, Kevin, I didn't understand.
he's saying it's not responsible, they didn't have all the qualifications at the point of the bid, neither did the second bidder.
No, the second one did, the first one did not. The second one has been qualified for the last several weeks.
Okay, that's what my question is.
Yes.
I also understand too, and I want to throw this out here because I cannot, I would never want to be in your two situation right now. That would be very hard, knowing that you also have $100 and how many $1,000 for the county's money difference. What's the difference?
That's a bunch of money to leave on.
275?
No,
One,
75.
75,000, which is a lot of money.
About 10%.
That might be worth seeking legal counsel if you can talk to your lawyer.
Thank you for saying that. That was gonna be my next thing. 75,000 is a lot of money on the table, guys, and that's.
I'd like to say something else too. On your bid documents, do you have that in your bid package in writing that you have to have this at the time of bid? We did not have that. We had some verbal conversations that you're supposed to have this in good standing, but it wasn't said in writing that you should have a deadline and that it has to be.
In a MoDOT standard boilerplate, there is no phrase that says you have to have all these things turned in.
Okay, so that, we need to make sure they understand that. We did not have to have paper documentation turned in at the time of the bid. We did our stuff with Sam. We got our numbers. Our understanding was we were good. John did call us in the last week and said, I can't see you guys in
I
there.
think that's the gray area too, is that I can't say that I know that.
Right.
You know, because not knowing how that works and how that, I know what that identifier number is, I know that, I understand all that part. But as far as,
Yeah, I'd also like to say that, I know it's not easy, but with everything that's in writing, we talked about this. We don't feel like we're asking you guys to do anything that is detrimental to the county legally, because there's nothing in writing that was put out with this. Yes, they did, they told people verbally, but it's not a written rule. And we have saved the county on our bids over the last just over the last 3 years, over $200,000 that we were low on all our projects, including this year. Now, I know you have to do what you have to do with that. I would like for you to take that into consideration. It is a lot of money, but we're only asking for an extension. If this doesn't come through, we completely understand. But all we're doing is asking for just a little extension. And we don't think there's anything in writing that would put you guys at risk.
I'm going to, of course, John and Clay, that they they do a great job.
They do
And they put
fantastic.
their bids together and they do.
We have a great
job.
relationship, we work every year with them, and they are
And
fantastic at what they do.
We wanna work as local as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to withdraw my motion for the last motion I made for the contractor. And that's, Harold's got the final say here. I'm going to make it to where Tuesday by 10 o'clock at this meeting, we don't have the documentation that we need. That's a 1 week, I mean, that's even better than a 2 weeks. It was 1 week, then we'll move on forward with this. But I appreciate you guys being here, and I know I've seen your documentation. You showed me that you turned it into SAM.gov, but we have to follow those orders. So
Are we gonna make sure that they meet that deadline?
That is the final deadline.
Oh, you want a motion and a deadline, or?
Well, we don't need any motion,
Yeah.
just withdraw it and
I
vote to
withdraw it
table
and
it,
said
and
that-
make the motion to table it, if you like, or just let it lay.
Okay, but that's the final deadline.
Fine.
Final time.
Yes.
I would like to be on record, John and I want to speak for him, to say this goes against us being fair in our bid process and everything that we do, and we strongly
I get you.
disagree with that decision.
Duly noted, and there's 75,000 out there on the
We
table
try to
for
be
us.
fair with everything we do,
Yeah.
there's deadlines, there's integrity involved here, and this goes against the integrity of the road and bridge department and the county as a whole.
That's why
I want to
wanted
go on record as saying that.
That's why I wanted to make sure I started with what I did, guys, and I appreciate what you guys do. But like I said, there's 75,000 on the table, and the ball's in their court to meet that deadline by
I disagree.
next week.
Okay, final deadline. Absolute final. Okay, that item is tabled till next week. Approved bid for our overlay project of ARPA funding. John, you gonna talk about this, or?
Well, let's just table that till next week
Table it
too,
till next
because
week.
we don't have a
Yeah.
total.
Okay, approve engineering service fee. And,
We'll just table that one as well till next week.
Meeting's getting shorter in a minute.
Well, until we get everything lined out.
Okay, approved Berry Road project, Jeremy. You got that?
So part of this process, no different than any other PRO style project or MoDOT style project. These are property of the county. That's all the original bid.
Now, I'm putting some pressure on Jeremy to give me a rendering of that new bridge.
No.
I could do that.
You can do that, yeah.
Well, Dan Hale could do that at our office. I want you to have one. These are the detailed bid tags. Anybody else want a copy of the actual bridge detailed bid?
Yeah, there's one back here.
And I have a pair of glasses, I can.
Sorry, it's
Set it
a big project, I know.
Jeremy, you see him back here?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
left side, Harold. So as you all know, just as a summary, I probably don't need the microphone, but I'll stand up here. We did have five bidders. All of these bidders were registered with the state like they should be. And Capital Paving come in and blew our estimate out of the water, which is, quite frankly, a little scary. We've never worked with Capital as far as their bridge division. We have done a little research into this. They bought out Lehman Brothers, and Lehman Brothers had a bridge collapse in Kansas City. I'm just telling all the facts. And they had a bridge collapse in Kansas City, went bankrupt. That was 2 years ago. Capital came in, bought out their equipment. I have no idea as far as the rest of the details. At that point in time, Capital, which is a very, very large company, created a construction and bridge division. I don't know how many bridges they've built since they've started this division. That was 2 years ago. Anyway, so I contacted MoDOT, and just like any normal project, you know, this is funded through two different funding sources, governor's cost share being one of them. So the county really has no authority to do anything but award the project to the low bidder. So this phase of the process, I've sent you guys a letter that needs to be signed, and we move forward.
Okay, that's a letter to Chris Crawford.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got that done. Now, the bridge design is complete and up to standards. All work will be inspected by whom?
By us.
Okay, so, hopefully you'll find anything that would have caused the bridge collapse in the past or anything like that.
You know, in that, I haven't looked into what happened there. You know, don't know, I'm sure it was part of their shoring, I'm sure that's probably what happened. Once all the construction materials are in place and that kind of thing, you know, these are a different company that creates the beams, so that kind of stuff is, I would imagine, like I said, I would imagine, and I don't know, but this was probably during construction,
The collapse,
the collapse.
okay.
But anyway, I will say that the bright side is the fact that this second low bidder, which was 3.9 million, was a dream come true number. I mean, that was a number that we were praying for. I think I had told John that morning, my guess was this bridge would come in at 3.9 million. And the bidder that Joe's Bridge and Grading is, when they want a project, they're very hard to beat. They're very competitive and they're very good. And they're not very far away. And so when I opened the bid on that, when I saw their number, I was so pleased for the county's sake. Because we have someone that I know, someone that I trust, and someone very capable of building it. And then, and even that price was a great price. So then we turn around and all of a sudden, we have someone that left 10% on the table and come in at 3.5. So the bright side is the fact that the county, that's a big savings for the county. You know, because the governor's cost share grant doesn't go down, they're still paying up to that certain amount, so that's just more savings for you guys. So that is the bright side. And they did call me and they said, hey, we're very eager to start the project, can't wait, hope the county's happy with our bid, and so they're seeming very positive, and evidently they're not as concerned about leaving the 10% on the table as I am. But anyway.
But it depends on how many change orders come
We
through.
all get concerned about that, trust me. That's
We do.
what John
And-
just said is exactly what worries you when they do that.
Yes,
So,
and so, you know, you have as many specific line item, quantity items as possible in the bid, and so hopefully that, you know, and I've looked to see, because I'm sure you guys know this is your world, you know, but let's say I'm a contractor, and this is kind of how things work. If I'm a contractor and I say, man, I really don't trust their bores, I really think we're gonna have a lot more H-pile on our end vents than what they're saying. Well, instead of bidding my H-pile at $110 a linear foot, I might bid it for 200 and short myself a little bit on my mode cost, hoping for that change order. And I've looked for abnormalities like that, and I've not found it.
John, would you please speak some English?
Oh, he is.
These guys know what you're talking about, I don't know what you're
Yes.
talking about.
So-
That's why we have you.
So anyway, the point is I have looked through the bids. Okay, that's funny.
Sorry, man.
I've looked through the bids and like they're substructured concrete, they're like, the ends of the bridge.
I got that one. I know
Got it,
that.
okay, so that concrete, you know, in line with everyone else, pretty much every item is in line with averages. And there were two bidders that actually, I believe, did do that. And they were on the higher end, so we don't have to worry about it.
So they were told that going in the bid, the rock depth and different things.
Which is all based off of limited bores, but we did bore the thing 4 times to find rock depth, so
Is it prevailing wage
it is
by everybody?
federal and state.
Okay. Okay, motion?
They have to have that, right? The motion to approve that.
They do.
So we're gonna
Yes, sir.
What's, it's this bid right here, okay.
So
All right.
your options are either award to capital or lose the governor's cost share grant.
I see what you're saying. To make a motion that
Dave,
we.
can I
Yes.
just
Oh,
speak?
wait till
real
the
quick?
motion,
Let's
then
make
we'll-
a motion.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, I gotta get my old man glasses on. I would make a motion that we go with the Berry Road Bridge project to Capital Paving and Construction out of Jeff City, Missouri for $3,557,191.13.
Second. Now, your comment.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm Travis Barnes with Ironworkers out of St. Louis.
Okay.
So I cover all downtown, Perryville, then down in Eminence, Ellington. I'd just like to remind the commissioners that, and the county, that I've dealt with Joe's Bridge and Crane and Capital, and I haven't found any workers that were local hire. And just to remind you guys, if you use a union contractor, we dispatch our men that live closest to the job. And just keep that in mind in the future. We have
A DB contractor, is that what you said?
no, sir, a union contractor.
Union, okay, I didn't understand. the
Yeah,
word.
we supply the
Are
manpower.
both these are either one union contractors just don't use local labor halls, or are there?
I haven't found them to use any local labor, or any local people.
And Travis is right, with him and any other labor, union, construction union, whatever, they won't disperse local people, they've got their own people. They won't disperse local people to be on those jobs, and that's one thing that really bites in this whole thing, is that.
But you
But I
got the gun
can't,
to the head
yes,
saying you're using
yeah,
or
our hands are tied because the state's gonna tell us what we have to do, and then leaving them that much money on the table. And Travis understands it, and
I have a
appreciate you
question.
saying it.
Is there, and I don't know this, is there any of these contractors on here that are union?
Pace and,
Pace didn't bid it.
Yeah,
Pace
I
didn't say-
spoke to Travis when I
Is
said.
Millstone Weber?
Millstone Weber, yeah, but they were
non-union
700,000 high, right?
Yeah.
From the low bid.
Okay,
Millstone Weber is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So like the way it works is Millstone Weber would use local
Yes, sir.
people. And then the only downside is the 700, the downside is you lose $2 million of free money.
I understand. I just was talking about
And I-
future projects and
His job, and that's what you, I'm glad you came. to speak,
Capital's
because
3
that
hours
means-
away and their
I just
guys
want you
are
guys
on-
to know that, that's another reason why.
go home on Saturday and Sunday and get their money back to where they live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
okay, now, again, what's the financial loss if we don't award to the low bidder?
$2 million right off the bat, number one, plus another $700,000.
I was gonna say the 700,000 plus
The $1.825
$1.8
million
million
cost
that-
share.
Yeah, and then ARPA also, I think, has something in there also that, because you
Yeah, it's
can't.
being matched with ARPA funds.
Yes, so it goes a lot of money. Yeah, that's.
More than half the bridge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so your recommendation is? What?
Working capital.
We just made a motion.
Okay, you got a
Did you
motion?
second the motion, didn't you?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
did, that's
Yeah.
right.
It's called.
Okay.
It's done.
Any questions or comments? All in favor of awarding to Capital, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And thank you for your work on it, Jim, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
We know we don't have a picture of what the bridge is gonna look like.
Okay, now this renewal of insurance, we don't have some
Yeah.
documentation on this yet.
Know that?
Do you have it?
Yeah, here, I'll go over it for a
He's got
second. We have used Chubb Insurance, we bid our insurance, they cover our buildings, but we got their bid, it ends at the end of June, so we've got a few weeks here. And they changed their deductible from 10,000 per building to 100,000 per building. So we're trying to get some other bids. We've also, in the northern part there, we built the building. Originally, when we got the bid, that new building was not on there to be covered. And so we added that, and now, though I hear the old building has been torn down.
It's still on there.
So it's still on there, so when we get the final bid, we wanna take that building off. There's no
Okay.
reason to-
So-
because that's the problem, is those buildings, if we kept that up, and the courthouse, if we would have a tornado, we'd have 100,000 on both buildings, which is, rather than being all of our property, or up there, if you wouldn't have tore that building down, you would have had 100,000 deductible, even though that's worth more than what the building is worth.
Okay, so we're not ready to act on this today.
No, we're trying to get some other bids. I just think that that's a crazy
Take this under.
amount of growth for, yeah, I would just take it under advisement, because we've got 2 more weeks, and hopefully we can get a bid in before that covers us without that high outlay.
All right, under advisement. Request for permission to apply for grant, Mr. Mike Bryant. There he is.
the Deputy Sheriff Supplement Salary Fund. We're currently have this grant going right now. Request for permission to apply for it again. I think the application has to be in by May 31st. It provides additional funds to deputies that make under a certain amount of money per year. The $78,000 is not the correct amount.
Okay.
That was in addition to civilian corrections officers. So I believe the funds are 21,000 less than what that is, somewhere around 57,000 and some change.
So how do you want that dollar figure figured in the motion?
How much left?
I think there was 14 individuals, so you would minus 1,500 times 14 is 21,000.
You can say for about.
Do the math.
So you're asking to apply for a grant for $21,000?
No, $57,361.05. It'd just be 21,000 less.
That's the
than-
amount you included.
Yeah.
Or tell us what you want to do.
You're not, Mike, are you exact with that number, that civilians are not?
We'd say approximately.
There's
Well,
14.
the situation is we have fringe benefits to be included in this. So the motion could possibly read $1,500 for authorized deputy sheriffs
Plus
plus
benefits.
fringe benefits.
Right.
Rather than give a specific amount because we're not positive about this.
Plus benefits. So
Plus benefits.
per
$1,500.
qualifying
deputies,
there you go. Plus
including benefits.
$1,500
Plus
plus benefits for qualifying.
The 1,500 does not include the benefits. It's
Right.
plus
That's right.
1,500 is a salary, additional salary, and then you have the plus benefits.
Because initially it was 44,
Instead of the
I think
total amount.
44 total, but in reading the fine print, it did not qualify civilians.
We currently have 26 receiving this grant now, and I believe we'll probably add probably another 5 to that, so somewhere around 31 for this coming year.
That's why we want to just put it as qualifying.
So,
just, Dan?
Yeah, those are not individual deputies, it's not like Dave Kennedy, those are positions that are paid no matter who's in that as long as they're a deputy sheriff.
and they qualify.
Yes.
So that's what we're gonna
Dave
do.
doesn't qualify, by the way.
No, for any.
Dan doesn't qualify.
You don't want to comment about that.
Well, I'm going to make a motion that we apply for this grant for the sheriff's department for the deputy sheriff's salary supplement fund, DSS, and for up to $1,500 per
Position.
qualified person plus benefits.
Okay, second, questions?
I will add, when I was first hired, I did at some point get this, and as a young deputy and a young officer, that really helps out.
Was that the 1800s or the 1900s?
Not
If
quite
they
that.
qualify for it,
Colonel
it has to be
Center.
something.
No, take it easy, I was there before Dave.
You-
Don't start.
I'm
dating
sorry,
me.
I better not.
Okay, any questions, comments? All in favor of approving this grant application, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Sorry, Dave.
All good.
Okay, Bridget's done it again. Got a grant approval and multi-millions of dollars in grants because of she and 3 or 4 other grant writers we have in the county. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much for what you do.
How many do we have now for Over 50.
Probably around 30.
30? Okay.
30 or so.
Still in process, you mean, or what?
Yeah.
Okay. No idea how many you've gotten finished. Well, we thank you so much. Okay. Next meeting, right here next week. Everybody's welcome. Other business, correspondence.
A lot of water. Just thank you guys for being out there. I think it's on departmental reports.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that, those were a lot of the correspondence that happened this week, and when it rains like that, your phone rings off the.
Okay, public comments, you guys want to talk? Can you come to the microphone?
Sorry.
Mike, up microphone.
Sorry, that was your name.
Thanks, Joe. Joe.
Joe Sutton, we got a politician with for Bradley in 2006 to have our road taken over by the county. He said there was two ahead of us, so he took care of the two, but then he retired and let Patrick mow. Instead of taking ours first, he took in 8 or 10 roads plus 100 Ridge. And we're still don't have a road to take in our blacktop. We've done all the work on it to have it paid, but nothing's coming. Appreciate somebody.
I'm surprised we've taken in any road since then. Clay, any idea? When was the last road we took in?
Well, we took in, we changed the status of a road up on Maple Hill, some roads up there last year. But in the last 10 years, that's about the only one I know of.
And what was the purpose of that?
Well, there was a maintenance agreement with it that we did certain things, and we didn't have 100% maintenance of it. It was very gray, it was very unsure to both the road and bridge department and the landowners, just what we would and would not do. So the commission agreed to take in all of the roads with full maintenance.
So we did mowing service,
Pothole and mow.
pothole, and we changed out culverts. But there was no snow removal or any kind of asphalt overlay. Well, the condition of the road needed some overlay done to it to keep it passable.
But-
It was just that real gray
But
area.
as far as adding any other roads into our, I'm not aware of any since, well, I was in positions as in a supervisory position in 2013, and I know none that we've done other than that since then.
Okay. Now, the Maple Hill, part of that was the steepness of the hill and the safety and.
It was, and about half of the roads in there, we had partial maintenance, and it was very confusing. It was very unsure why it was done that way. It was before my time, I don't know. But the commission voted to take in full maintenance of the whole area, all the roads up there. So, other than that, since 2013, that's the only addition that I know that the commission has made to the infrastructure.
We've generally always said no.
We've actually given roads back
We have given.
to a private status, instead of taking roads in. So the
Actually,
landowners have taken over maintenance of the road.
that could be Heston landowners.
And those cities too.
Right, and in the, yes, adjacent to city limits, we gave roads back to, well, we transferred ownership to the cities.
So there's been overall a diminish of the county roads rather than
Little,
addition.
a little, yeah, but, yeah, probably been about a push for what we've taken in and what we give back to the cities, but maybe a little bit of it.
And Joe calls me a lot, and I, you know, like I said, I told him, I said, make no promises, but please come and speak, and, probably, I told him as many times as he wants to speak, and so.
And of course, that's a decision for the county commission. I mean, Road and Bridge is aware of these roads in these areas, but that's totally up to the commission.
What road are we talking about?
Yeah, good question.
Combs Lane.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna let Joe answer that, but.
How many houses are on?
What do you got, 5? Yeah.
What was the spelling of that?
Combs,
It's
C-O-M-B-S.
supposed to be 3 houses.
Which you may not know what Combs is by myself.
Oh, Combs.
What's your point, Kevin? What's your point, Kevin?
But thank you.
I went to a drugstore one time and talked to the pharmacist, and I needed back home, and he said, we don't need any teeth in the middle, do we? Anyway. Okay, any other departmental, let's see, public comments next, yes, look, no.
Morning. Charlie Hoffman, Rich Oaks on that road. In reference to that, there's 6 properties, or 5 property owners, 5 street on the road. In respect to the road, before I did a career on the St. Louis Fire Department, I ran heavy equipment for City of St. Louis construction equipment. I was involved in pretty much every aspect of the construction, including resurfacing. And if the county would consider what we have now would make an absolutely excellent base for overlay. And the overlay would be very beneficial to us, especially in inclement weather.
appreciate your
Appreciate it,
comments.
thank you guys. That's the one.
Okay, well, still public comments, and anybody else? Yes.
Yes, hi. Do I need to come up there?
Yeah.
I know nobody likes the
Sorry,
front,
your name,
but you're
please.
more than welcome to sit down.
We live in McCormick Acres. There's about 28,
Your name, please.
Kelly Anston. And we have about 28 residents, and we were involved in a water main that the city redid it started last year. And we're just wanting to know what's going on with when we're gonna get the repavement done.
Jed?
John or Clint?
That
Well, we tried
road-
to approve it today.
We tried to
so
approve it
it'll
today.
possibly be approved next Tuesday. I know I've spoke with you several
That
times.
was on that list of roads.
Right. I spoke with you several times. We were notified by the city of Farmington February 22nd that the project was complete. There's still some yard work that has to be done before we would like the overlay put in. So the heavy equipment that's doing the repair on the yard does not tear up the new asphalt. But from the city standpoint, they are done with the water line replacement in the roadway.
Who's doing the yard work?
City of Farmington.
They said they're waiting on you to do it.
When the project is led by the commission, we will give the contractors the go-ahead to start the project.
So are we talking this year, next
So,
year,
I don't think-
10 years?
So if we would have awarded this today, they have till September 15th to complete the project. So you guys will not have a newly overlaid road. I mean, it'll be within that 4-month period.
It'll be this
They'll
year.
come through and
It'll be
overlay.
this year?
Yeah.
And it will be
And that's what
overlaid.
I've explained to you numerous times on the phone. I believe you guys had started a petition because we got contacted by Lee Gannon's office. Mentioned the exact same thing. The story hasn't changed since the city of Farmington. Since we made that agreement with the city of Farmington that they're gonna pay us for a portion of the overlay, that same story has been conveyed from the very beginning.
And that will be next week for sure. We will make that, not
New
sorry,
asphalt?
we will make the
New-
decision
Yeah,
next
that one's
week.
actually gonna get 3-inch asphalt overlay.
Either way.
Yep.
Claudia, do you want to say anything?
No, I just asked him what the overlay meant, because,
Okay.
I mean, that road, those roads are destroyed.
And I know when we talked, when you guys came in, and you said the mayor said this and that.
Yeah.
Well, we're here talking to you face to face, which I wish, sometimes they would.
Well, we might have to do that too.
Right, and we have with them, so that's what I'm saying, there's two different stories, and then there's a lot of rumble out there. So just know that it's on the list, like I told you, I just wanted to make sure you guys got what John and Clayton said, that was the part where you live. Cause I didn't wanna say, okay, it's on the list, and then they go by your house and make a right, and they missed you. So now that we're on the same page, and you guys know what's going on
But just to
next week.
clarify, all of McCormick Acres, as of right now, is not being overlaid. It's just the part that was impacted by the water line replacement is what is getting overlaid.
I just wanted to ask, basically, so as it stands now, they're not going to put the overlay down until the Farmington finishes up the water in the yards and stuff, so they have their equipment on there.
We would like,
But Farmington says they're not gonna do it till you guys put the overlay down. I'm
if we have put the overlay down, we will, but then we're just gonna hold the city liable if they tear it up with their equipment.
Right.
And they'll have to come in and make the repairs.
You guys don't want that either.
Once we award these bids,
It's up to
then
the
it's up to the
contractor.
contractors to finish it, but once we award them, they have the green light to do it.
And one of our potential contractors is sitting in front of you guys that spoke earlier. Typically what we do on a county road is we do a 2-inch overlay. That portion of the roadway, since it is in such bad shape and it's had the water line replacement, we'll get a 3-inch overlay.
Well, it hasn't been done in 47 years
I understand.
that I've lived there.
We get that quite a bit throughout the county, but the way the budget's set up, we're limited on the funds that we can spend, and we cannot pave in rotation the number of miles every year that we need to.
But realize it was always our intent to overlay that this year.
John, that 3-inch overlay would be compacted to what, 1.5 inches?
No, at 3 inches, but about 2 3/4 inches, it'll be 3 inches of asphalt.
So your roads and streets are gonna be that much higher than they are now?
And you guys don't want the heavy equipment running on the roads after they fix them, I've seen it, it's just not good.
I mean,
So-
most of the yards out there where there's a fire hydrant or water service has been put in, there's low areas, correct? Cause we come through there about once a week, just to make sure that the road's passable and something hasn't settled. I know it's rough, and I know it's
Passable, but
muddy,
it's
but
rough.
it is, and it was our intent early in the week to come in and spray oil. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover all of the gravel areas with the prime oil. And that will solidify the base, it won't be as muddy, and then that gives the contractor something good to pave over. But it's been too wet to do it.
Oh, yeah, I can agree with that because we've all trashed it in.
Yes.
Okay, well, this time next week, we will act on that approval of that project. And the money will be spent by September of this year. And that means the project must be done by that time. So that's your, put that on the calendar. Okay, any other, public comments? Now for departmental reports.
Do you have the pictures from the other day that I sent you?
The pictures of, no.
I
I'm
emailed
sorry.
you a bunch of
I'm
pictures.
sorry, I don't have it.
Oh, that's all right.
I'm sorry.
Is it the water?
It was just the water and the tree damage that
Yeah,
we
they-
experienced.
They've
last
been
week.
busy with high water. I'm sorry, John, I didn't get that.
Play you some videos.
Okay, any other departmental reports?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.